Hello and welcome back, everyone. It's time for game number 2 of our best of 2 between Cloud9 Academy and Immortals Academy. Crumbs, it is smooth sailing in the opening game for Cloud9 Academy once again.
Yeah, they have just opened with a banger, as we are used to now in the Academy streams. The best of 2s have really given us that kind of display. The set Lee Sin combo was a joy to watch. I think the priority on this pick, the set in particular, is really rising. Again, the ability to just suplex people and have them have no way out. I think that's what they really like about it. There's no escape. You're just gonna have to get engaged upon. They're finding fights after fights. And if that wasn't enough, you have a Sven to back you up, right? It's not like Sven is just being funneled all these resources and then they're counting on him to carry. It's the 4 men that stayed with the absence of King, with the addition of Sven, that actually generate these advantages. Sven picks them up and then is adding just an incredible amount of team fighting power.
Yeah, already slotting very well into the team. Again, that's something I think Sven is very good at. Super self-sufficient player. Typically plays kind of whatever you want him to play, but it always has a grasp of like the strong meta ADs and has a pretty not narrow champ pool, but like he's like very refined on his picks, right? Which is always fun to see. In fact, we'll watch a couple highlights from the game, so you don't have to see us talk about it. You can watch them do. Oh, this fight was so funny.
Yeah, if this was where Anda gets 2 equalizers, but then he's just thinking, should I stay in here? Should I get out? There's a really fed Kaisa. He should have just ran. I was watching him like, please just run. Please, why stick around? But then he does. And then he ends up dying, giving a bounty over and continuing the gold bounty collection of Sven. This to me was the highlight. I mentioned it before, but just watching Keith trying to play AD carry here. Some would say he didn't actually get to play AD carry, but like, what can you do? They're all point and click. There actually isn't a way to outplay it. You're just gonna get hit and you're gonna get knocked out.
The classic melee Ezreal, and this one again. This is like the real downtown killer instinct out of Kaiser, and then Cloud9 TP. They basically win the fight from like 3 different positions in a little isolated skirmishes, and they win all of them. And Ace IMT end up closing out this game. It's a really fun team fight.
They tried to take down Diana, but they just didn't have nearly enough damage at this point. Viego struggles to close the gap when Rumble and Leona can go so far in their engage. If Viego has to use his ultimate to get into the fight, you can forget about executing her. She's got so much shielding, so much power to stay alive and buy time for the team. This is a pick that made splashes around the offseason in solo queue and the in-houses, and just now we're really starting to see it take off in Academy as an answer to the Rumble. But I suspect we're going to see a little bit more Diana here and there, because when she does well, there's just no other champion that can do what she does. It's a point and click engage.
Yeah, I think both her and Fiddle, is something you mentioned, which actually got banned in this game, might be reasonable things against the Rumble. It does feel like, it can't be true that Rumble is the only good AP jungler, and it can't be true that whenever the enemy picks Rumble, you can only pick Udyr, right? Like, at some point, if Rumble is that good, you will figure out other things to play that can kind of match it. Because I think we have seen teams figure out how to navigate Rumble. So even though Anda had a really good game, like credit to IMT, there were definitely bright spots there for them. Anda in particular had a lot of early kills. He was getting the snowball going. This is where you want your Rumble to be. It does feel like it's much harder to carry as an individual these days. Not that you can't make good plays, but typically like you need to rely on champion combinations. And Rumble Leona is really good, as you said, but you kind of need a dive buddy. And they didn't really have anyone else to dive in there. Certainly not Ezreal is going to get in there on Keith's side. In fact, It was the opposite. He was just getting dove 24/7. So curious to see how IMT adjust coming into this next game, because it's very hard to pinpoint the exact problem, right? Because I think all of Cloud9 played very well.
Yeah, and Anda can play many junglers, many AP junglers. He loves obviously going for the Elise. In fact, he's even drawn some bans on it here in Academy, but there are some picks that people are experimenting with that maybe we can see the IMT lineup work into their composition. Gragas is slowly coming up here. I think that pick still needs some refinement. Teams aren't that used to playing with Gragas again, but the likes of a Karthus, right? The Karthus can just power clear, press R, and still be really relevant in the team fight. You want to dive into me? You want to kill me? that is exactly what Karthus wants you to do. So it actually plays into what these dive champions want to do. So it makes it much harder for these engages to be so clumped up and so streamlined on following after a single member. So I think there's a lot of options, but just like you mentioned, Pastry, they demand so much more setup, so many more champions to be synergistic around you, because Karthus can't get away with any composition. You need specific lanes that can protect him. You need a lot of physical damage in these setups. So the contesting of Set and Lee Sin is key to be able to play these kinds of AP junglers.
Yeah, I just loved how flexible Cloud9 were willing to be in that draft. Even though they took Set first pick, which interesting one to take first. Maybe they know IMT doesn't play Lee Sin, or they didn't think they would pick it. And to their credit, they were correct on that read if that was their strategy, right? Lee Sin came around in the second round of picks for Cloud9. But, you can kind of put those champions anywhere. You're just very well set up. Even with set support, right? He can flex down there as well. So I just like how Cloud9 approached that game. And then turns out that was their top side, and they just figured out their ADs pretty straightforwardly, because they didn't get that much attention in the draft, right? There's so much focus on the powerful enchanters and the powerful solo laners that bot lane actually is pretty open as far as what's available to pick. It's just like maybe teams are figuring out exactly what picks to pair with all the different top side options you have.
That's a joy in the current meta. So many different options, and it's so weird because it felt like just a month ago we felt like the meta was stagnant. Just a few changes and suddenly the pool is wide open for so many different roles. Seems like innovation is plenty, and so these teams that can come up with these combinations and start honing in on them much sooner are finding so much success. The one that I still think I want to see teams prioritize a little bit more is the Karma Xin combo, what 100 Thieves showed. It is really strong, and I think is the easiest combo currently available that you can play for the amount of power it offers and how easy it is to execute. This is the kind of thing I think teams can just pick up without even having practice. It looks that easy, and it's point and click. It's just shields. It's just a free win.
I agree with you, Crumbs. There's just one problem. Nobody gets Karma anymore. She's too good. Nobody wants to play against the champion. But I do think that we've talked about this too. Like, what other enchanters can you play? I think some Seraphine has been played. I think that's a cool one. Soraka, if you want to play a support enchanter, is maybe a thing. Maybe Taric gets to get some time back in. I think around the world some teams have played Taric. So definitely a lot of different options as people are trying to figure out exactly what they want to play. But we might be running back the draft here because we are running back the sides. And so far it's the exact same bands as the last game, although they did reverse the order slightly, but doesn't really matter. It looks like it is going to be the same 6 bands here, or at least very close to.
Yeah, I want to see if IMT ends up banning the set here, or more than anything, just taking Lee Sin right away, right? Because maybe you just don't want to give up set and Lee Sin, so you can take one in trade for the other. But Cloud9, though, did feel like Ezreal was somewhat problematic, which didn't seem like that at all. So maybe they just think that if they're going to split away our composition, then we are not going to have as much diving power. So let's make sure that the most mobile, most tanky AD carry doesn't go through again.
Yeah, so center ban again. Ezreal's the only change, actually, but Fiddle was the other ban that was left open. So there's going to be first pick Rumble now on the Cloud9 side. So a very interesting approach to this draft already. Very different from game 1.
All right, well, the ball is on Anda's court. Can he play these AP junglers like the Fiddles or Diana to have a greater impact into these fights than the Rumble? That's what I'm looking at right now. Because you could lock in picks like Set or Lee Sin with a Fiddlesticks, with a Diana, and you can run back what Cloud9 just did to you as well. So there's a lot of opportunity for IMT here to show how deep their champion pools go. It will instead, though, be the Lucian, which can be Vipers here. I think that's the big caveat for IMT, is that Viper is more than capable of playing Lucian in the top lane. It's not necessarily a mid lane Lucian.
Yeah, I think both these picks, actually, Lucian and Renekton, are very much solo lane picks. Exactly which solo lane, they can decide later on the IMT side, but these are very much solo lane picks on IMT side. I would be shocked if Keith was the one that ended up with Lucian, although of course it's possible, although Lucian AD It's just not all that common these days. Cloud9 apparently love what they played last time. Maybe this was actually the order they wanted originally. They've just realized perhaps that they are just going to get set Lee Sin every game, so they will take it here very comfortably. And you could argue they have an even better AP jungler this time, not having to take Diana this time, but getting the Rumble first pick instead does force Ender onto Nidalee. He has to play some AP jungler, given the first 2 picks drafted, so will be 6 topside picks already. But I don't know about you, Crumbs. Nidalee is interesting to me. I feel like she just doesn't have the same sort of impact as the other AP jungler.
Yeah, she doesn't, because she can get fed, but then the fight either engages right away or she just doesn't hit a spear. So it doesn't actually matter how much gold she had. She's not going to be able to provide nearly as much value. So the early game is so important for her to be able to give some of that gold over to the other champions on her team so that they can then start carrying. And so IMT's strategy, to no one's surprise, with Anda and Viper will probably involve a lot of topside action, a lot of mid lane ganks, making sure that the solo lanes get really far ahead. But they're going to be up against Copy and Darshan that are already warmed up on these 2 picks. So I think that IMT's really putting the burden of execution on themselves here and saying that we need to win the early game, and we're happy to execute on it. We'll see if it's true, though, because this combination has really fallen by the wayside as the meta has developed as something from a previous time. Just like Renekton and Dinosaurs, it seems like it's just from a long, long time ago, no longer the top predator.
Not a lot of support for Lucian either out of the jungle is the other thing, right? Kind of hard for Lucian to... Lucian got CC someone, and Nidalee can't really either. So Renekton Nidalee, really nice, right? As far as setup goes. But Lucian's going to have to do a lot of work on his own. And, of course, the jungler can come to pressure. It's one of the nice things about Nidalee, that she does clear so quickly. But it'll be interesting to see how the top side plays out, because we already know what Cloud9 are going to do, right? They showed off their top side with basically these 3 picks with 1 jungle change in the last game here. As Leona, Thresh, Kai'Sa, and Varus have all been banned away. So Sven's going to have to get off Kai'Sa. Perhaps the Kalista that was banned in Phase 2 last game is actually a real threat. And also Tristana there for IMT. Is there the Kalista? Thresh not available. So what does Sven want to pair alongside Isles with here? And it's going to be Nautilus once again.
No, half the time I feel like, why ban AD carries against Sven? Because it's like he's really gonna get something he's really good at no matter what, right? You could drop 5 AD carry bans. In fact, there are 4 by all teams combined, 5 if you even want to count the Tristana deny. And Sven on Kalista is still a signature pick for him. He's won international tournaments with this pick. Like, this is not something you just give off and feel happy going into this lane. So I think that these bans aren't hurting Cloud9 in the second rotation, and they still got a composition that looks a lot like what they did in game 1. The only difference might be if Darshan and Copy want to trade and want to switch their lanes. They still have some time to switch between each other as they bide their time to see what Viper and Pretty want to do with their lanes as well.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they swap, although I guess you're trying to figure out, like, what matchup do you want? I think either of them into the Renekton matchup is fine, and my assumption is that the Lucian matchup is way worse, but maybe they were just having some fun there because they did swap last minute, but not too last minute. Cloud9 will indeed have Copy on Set and Darshan on Lee Sin. Oh, you can also, like, move your picks around, right? If you decide that, Set is better in solution. Copy can still pilot the champion he just played, but he can play it in the top lane instead. We're starting to see teams swap that up quite a bit as well, because again, with so many different solo lane options, with so many different powerful solo laners, some of it in the early game is a lot about getting the matchup that you actually prefer, and sometimes that means you have to be playing, top lane as a mid laner, which is starting to become more and more common. In fact, it may end up just being the way League works in the future if the trend continues.
Who would have thought we go full circle?
Exactly.
How League started. That's been my secret joy, right? Just go back to the old days where everybody had to play every lane, every champion, and you just play it by ear as to who is comfortable on that pick at the time. Pastry, the LCK did it last night, all right? Malrang was playing in the jungle. Canyon, the jungler, was playing mid lane. Showmaker, AD carry. This just shows when you're good at League, you can play all the roles. If Damwon Gaming can do it, so can Cloud9 Academy.
That's the stretch, perhaps, but we're back in a game now, as IMT with the Braum as their last pick are going to be invading. This is definitely advised. Schoenfire is going to have to get on out of there. And Darshan also in a bit of trouble. Not going to go too far forward, but this is great for my IMT. This is a great comp to invade with. You have to get early pressure. Rumble is definitely a champion that doesn't like having his jungle invaded, so IMT will take full advantage of all of that at level 1.
And maybe they can even have a split map situation, which would be really annoying for the Lee Sin if he has to deal with the Lucian and the Nidalee just harassing him constantly. So it's an option for IMT, but it's not like the early game is going to be entirely where their strengths lie. I really like Braum right now, and especially when you have so many champions that love to auto attack and keep a distance. That is the one criteria I'm always looking for when you're selecting Braum for your composition. Do you have many members that want to auto attack and assist in proccing your passive? Because if so, then the value you get from just the constant application of the concussive blows is just ridiculous, and that's what this IMT lineup can do. Double AD carry, reconnect them with his stun, has multiple auto attack procs, and then you got a Nidalee on top of it. So Braum's gonna get a lot of value here.
Yeah, I like Braum a lot in this meta with all the melees floating around, but I agree with you that you do need ample ways to help proc it, and this is definitely a comp that feeds to that. So again, like another little synergy that keeps stacking up, right? You know, Braum plus people that can attack, not a particularly like advanced synergy, let's say, but one nonetheless. Is Pretty's almost getting himself solo killed there, but does queue up there, had the rage pretty far filled. It wasn't too afraid, and Copy also understanding the calculations as well by the looks of things, because didn't overextend either. Great stun there for Pretty, actually, as Copy was going in for another trade.
Oh, the junglers just want to go into this mid lane so badly. There's no cleanses. There's stuns from either side. It's going to be so easy. And it's just skipping Raptors and going straight for mid.
Now they know it. Pretty with the stun there. Oh, the flash comes back up in time. And now Copy going back around. There's first blood for Schönfire. Cloud9 making it look so easy. Anders maybe going to have to flash it. Does get himself tagged by another Harpoon. The next one doesn't follow. And Ander is going to get away. TP insta-back from Pretty there as he's back up nice and quickly, and in fact this wave isn't even reset yet, so Schönfire's going to have to stick around for a little bit longer as Copy also going to hang out, but you don't want to get too hasty here. But Schönfire feeling strong enough here to push them back. Copy, despite not recalling yet, W's up again, and they're going to get the wave in. Pretty looking for the dive, but the face break is going to outplay it. Isles, he's in there as well, and Cloud9, they've just run over this mid lane.
Oh my god, the bot lane, Isles and Sven, out of nowhere. Sven even joins the fight here. He was ready to help out. That was a beautiful roam there. Knowing that the bot lane was humming, Copy and Schönfire could just continue to play aggressive, and the timing of the facebreaker from Copy really just was beautiful there to prevent Anda and Pretty from actually following through. That is such an advantage. You'd almost think that if this was a scrim, IMT would want to remake, but we're going to see how this all played out, because there was a bit of a mistiming there on the flash stun and the spear. The spear comes out too late. Even if that hit, though, I think Copy would be able to live from that one. So Pretty burned his flash, was no position to actually survive, and then we watched the bot lane immediately making their way after crashing the wave. This whole time they're walking from bot to the mid lane, trying to help out in this 2v2, knowing that they will be needed. Then just watch Copy stun.
This facebreaker is so good. What a bait. Oh! Walks in front of the Renekton, catches Nidalee mid-pounce. Copy is so good at this champion.
That was beautiful. And the emote game too. The Timo with the finger gloves. That's just,
I mean, Set has
essentially
has a built-in emote, right? He can do sit-ups on you, so that's you know, that's got a lot of extra power that maybe isn't appreciated, not just in the kit, but also kind of the in-game intangibles as well.
When they start spamming it and just do them really fast, that's when I really like to see the emote spam, because we saw him doing them slowly, but when you can just start pumping those sit-ups, then you really start to get intimidated.
I mean, just look at what Copy's able to do now. Big experience lead up against Renekton. Getting another wave pushed in is pretty, you know, fanning a recall, but wants to at least collect these creeps. But the wave's just getting held. He's getting punched every time he approaches it. Copy is playing this kind of like you would in top lane, right? But just using the shorter lane and still able to get as much pressure applied in a matchup where he's ahead in melee versus melee.
Yeah, and him being ahead is exactly the sadness for Pretty, because this is not what you expected when you were playing Nidalee and Renekton. You wanted to be ahead. You wanted to win the 2v2, but now Copy is just threatening dives against you. So you're going to suplex him in.
Yep, Facebreaker's in. Does get stunned, though. Has to W soon, but he walks back. Tower resets. There's the W. Now Copy's going back in. Tower aggro by Schönfire, but he gets himself speared. Has to run away. Overheated. Copy back safely out from the tower that is no longer shooting him. And Cloud9, they don't get a kill, but that's actually really well done to not get caught up there. Is now bottom side. Keith getting jumped on, but Joey going to put up the Unbreakable.
That was legitimately a very impressive tower juggling from Schönfire and Copy, but the action doesn't stop. They can go for a dive from that good trade onto the mid lane.
Here we go again. Isles once more finds a hook. Joey just continuing to get melted. Keith exhausted, no hope, and dead to Schön as Cloud9 is diving every single tower now.
Oh, they got even better from game one. He can suplex him into the turret, so he has to dash away. And there just are no plays available for IMT. They can't answer with a Lucian in the top lane. They have to 3-man him. If Darshan backs off, C9 will get the dragon and not give up anything in return. Let's see if he actually falls for this.
All right, well, Darshan going to have to flash. Does get out of there, but now Pretty still walking at him. Darshan is kicked, but doesn't use it. Just walks back, puts down Tempest, and walks away. And Darshan, I wanted to point this out, but we didn't have a chance until now, but here's 3 points early into W. He actually put 3 points in there before anything else with 1 level in either ability. So definitely respecting the pressure that Lucian can put out, but skilling appropriately, right? This is one of the things about Lee Sin. He's just so flexible, both in role and also how you can approach a lane. He can be very annoying and push you in. And you can also play safe, right? And just eat a bunch of the damage and just shrug it off by sustaining with how powerful Safeguard is. So Cloud9 have just played this so well. I mean, that gold lead is disgusting, Crumbs. They're almost 4,000 gold ahead.
That was really well spotted, too, because the only place where IMT could have maybe started to build a gold lead would be in the top side. Through last hitting against Darshan through the harass, but because he did skill that one, the Lucian harass is just negligible. And the sustain goes up, too, so this could be the only time.
Joey,
but Joey's
dead! Every time he's on screen and Isles is near him, I feel like he's just getting hooked. He's magnetized to them, Crumbs. Notice I didn't even use ulti. Rumble has 3 kills. Suplex. Isles again. Finds the hook. Darshan finds the Q kick. Easy kill. Copy out of there. Has the W heated up. And now Viper TP's in, but what do? You're a Lucian.
He's catching the wave. He's catching 2 CS. He's making sure that Pretty, at the very least, is avenged. But Viper, maybe he's roaming to the bot side. Schönfire does have flash, so he can't get out of this.
You're going to have to use the flash. Does get W. Oh, bad flash. Auto attack followed him. 600 bonus gold to Anda. Finally, Schönfire punished for his aggression.
Any chance of a perfect game is now gone. It looked like it should have been, right? It looked like it was the makings of a perfect game.
Definitely did. Instead, Schönfire will give up a lot of gold to Anda, which is probably one of the not so scary places it could have gone, but still gold that IMT will be very happy to have. They're still very far behind. Like, don't let Schön slip up, distract you from the overall advantage Cloud9 have built, but Schönfire did get a touch too aggressive there.
If this is an advantage that IMT can at the very least even out, they don't even necessarily have to win, that will be an accomplishment in and of itself, because their composition at this stage, when they don't have any lanes to play through, is just about to go off the rails. Because look at what Cloud9 can do. This is just Schönfire damaging Isles or Joey by himself. The hook might not have even been necessary. There was so much damage from Rumble by himself. And then even the mid lane, the strength of your comp, the Renekton, the synergy with the Nidalee is getting abused.
And then Schön, this is his sin. Trying to kill the Grump. He got it, but it cost him his life.
There was actually no way out. Once he went for the Grump with Viper going from mid to the bot side, and that ward that IMT had in the entrance that didn't see Rumble, they knew exactly where he was, and, well, yeah, that actually ended up giving some gold over. But here's Joey dying one more time.
Fighting in this red buff. Callisto ulti there, and Brom's gonna get... Sorry, Isles gonna get back in there with the Nautilus. Copy there in as well. W is out. Flashes. Oh, Blast Cone, very nice.
Whoa.
This Copy's gonna get out to safely through the base gate he goes. And Copy, man, this guy just doesn't die.
That was sick. I think Pretty might have flashed and auto the blast cone, and that's how Copy got out, or maybe Copy actually hit that. That was a split second to see, but IMT is grouping up. They're trying to make something happen on the map. They need multiple members to participate to start to get a hold on this game, but if Cloud9 just doesn't give up anything like they just did, they're going to slowly amass CS advantages and objectives like we currently see. They're winning in CS everywhere, and they've got Dragons and Heralds.
Yeah, I mean, just that mid lane matchup alone, Copy is almost 30 CS ahead of Pretty in their 1v1, even though Pretty has actually been a top side for a little bit longer now. Shenfire is still barbecuing people here on Rumble. Doesn't even have an item finished yet, by the way. I'd be shocked if this wasn't a Rocket Belt game, given how things are going. But Schoenfire is definitely well equipped to make it happen. Also have the Rift Herald that he can drop at any time. They've gotten the first Dragon. Next one's up in 35 seconds. Darshan and Pretty are fighting, but Pretty not really at liberty to fight anyone. Although End is here, so that helps. And Darshan's going to back away.
2 levels down, but he knows that the Nidalee is here, and so does Darshan, because Schernfire and Copy are invading the blue side, and there's nothing here. There's no action, so by virtue of deduction, they assume that the Anda is in the top side, and so he doesn't chase. He doesn't want to take down the 0-3 Renekton. There's not much to gain from that one on the chance that he actually gets turned by a gank, but Cloud9 is now going to 4-man the bot lane.
Such a good dive. Equalizer out from Shern, slows both. Joey going to be the target, does have his flash, gets himself out of there, pops the Braum ulti, but still left for dead as Shern takes down yet another kill.
I loved how Isle played that. He didn't go for the hook right away that Joey could have easily dodged. Goes for the flash auto, guarantees it, but Darshan is now 1v2ing.
Darshan finally committed, but he's already got pretty low. Does have the ulti ready. Oh, he missed the Q! It's tragic. Darshan going to one hop away, flashing as well, but can they follow up? Pretty zooming on in, but he can't get there. Darshan just barely going to get out alive, and oh, Anda! Big damage there. No safeguard left for Darshan. Anda will actually get that kill.
He just could not resist. He really couldn't. When the team is making plays, when everything is beautiful, the sun is shining, everyone is winning, well, he wants to test the water, see if he can 1v2, and he might have actually been able to pull it off, had those Qs landed and had a little bit more mechanical prowess on that play, but Joey is caught again.
I feel like we just keep repeating ourselves. Copy with a suplex, stride breaker in, and Isles, yeah, Ignite ticks down. Wasn't trying to get the kill, but happen to have the Ignite down, so we'll take it.
Yeah. That's the classic support. I wasn't trying to get the kill. Don't worry. Yes, he was really extended. There was no one out, but I wasn't trying.
Extended bait there for Copy. Oh, Schoenfire is dropping the equalizer straight on him. Viper's forced to flash away. The level 9 Rumble.
Fun. They're
having
playing
a lot
with
of
their
fun.
food. Yeah, they're just using whatever spells they see on whoever. They know they win all these fights. IMT continues to fall behind, but all right, they should be able to kill Darshan here, though. He doesn't have flash. He is corralled by 3 people. It should be a kill for IMT.
Yeah, this is a good place to start here. IMT attacking the only side of the map they can really afford to, but Darshan getting himself away, pops the safeguard there. Oh, and he's going for it. Of course, he's going for it. He gets the kill. Darshan! Is he going to find a second here? The explosive shot is down. Darshan getting low, but he can look for another one. He does get himself stunned, but again, the healing is just so massive. Misses the Q. Safeguard is back on.
What?
He finds it with the Tempest. Darshan! Darshan! The man is going to try and 1v3. Here comes Joey. 1v4. Oh, he finds the kill. He's got the double kill. Darshan! He can just keep going. It's so disgusting. Crumpus Joey. Now going to have a friend TP in, but the Q is down. He's going to get that kill. A triple kill now as Viper, the next one into the arena. He's got no teammates, by the way. They're just leaving him alone. It's Darshan. He's going to do it again. Are you kidding me? He got a quadra kill, Crumbs. A literal 1v4 quadra kill.
I've never seen anything like that. He just killed the whole team by himself. The whole team. Oh my god. Oh.
Stop fighting. What? I need a break. Ben gets Ender, and they take down the mid tower. But oh my god, Darshan, that is ridiculous. Won every duel, every single one. Everyone's stepping into the arena, and Darshan's 1v1 and everyone.
That's a career high. That's the biggest montage play you could possibly have. Oh my god, 1v5s, the whole team. There's no help, and he gets them all. We need to see that again.
Oh, we will. We'll definitely be watching that again. I almost guarantee it.
Holy.
All right, so what's happening in this game? Cloud9 are 9,000 gold ahead, and Schoenfire's Barbecue and Viper once again. Now there's the kill he's been looking for. Schoenfire doesn't even have a Mythic, by the way, just Sork Shoes and Hextech Alternator. Feels pretty good, man, but he's a level 11 Rumble in a game where his team is massively far ahead, as Isles thought about booping over the wall, but does not commit.
Oh, man, I'm still recovering mentally from what just happened. How does IMT bounce back just from that on? Okay, here we go, because the biggest thing is the combo again wasn't staggered, but then with the max of the W, he just chooses to take every and all challengers. This is ridiculous.
He didn't even have kick. I thought he kicked Ando, but I don't think he has it. That Tempest barely clips him, and then from there, like, it's doomed. Like, it's so doomed. Here. Oh, he does. Very nice for Darshan.
Oh, now Joey's and then like, the TP. Yep. He puts the ward down. He's like, help! Back me up! Back me up! I need some help! But then it's a 1v1. And even though the stun procs, the W, the 3 points of early W with the Gore Drinker. Oh, man. The only thing that you'd love, that you would wish you could change from that clip is if it was a pentakill. What just happened, Darshan?
And I love that after all of that, we come back in a different 1v4 situation. And this time, Darshan said they figured it out, Crumbs. You have to bring everyone at the same time. That's the only way you pick up this Lee Sin.
Oh, you can't blame him, though. He did it once, right? I did it once
He's
before.
Feeling it.
Take
That's
him on again.
Sure. I didn't blame him at all. Darshan should be feeling it after that. I mean, as soon as he took that first Q in that 1v3, I'm like, okay, I know there's only one way this could end. Well, two ways, right? But he's not leaving, right? He's not leaving unless everyone else is dead, right? And thankfully for Darshan, everyone else did indeed get picked off there. As Cloud9 still working on a very quick soul once again. Of note, as we will move ourselves back into the game a little bit more. It is very tough to tear away from that play, but Cloud9 are going to get this. Ocean Salt, again, they're just up so much gold. They're going to get themselves this third Drake, their first Ocean, and moved on the Soul Point. I misspoke just a moment ago, but Ocean Soul's going to be on the cards very early on once again at just under 23 minutes until they can take that Dragon. They've complete control of side lanes. They're up way too much gold. Everyone's got their mythics. This is a dream scenario for Cloud9 Academy.
This is the dream where the championship is earned, where you win everything, where all the plays go in your favor, where the enemy just falls like dominoes at your mercy. But IMT's at least trying, though. They know they can't lane, they can't farm, they have to be looking for something, so they're just taking the time to go into the jungle and hopefully Cloud9 face checks them, but they're ignoring it. They've got a Herald, they're pushing, they're trying to end this game in under 20.
Schoenfire has had this Herald. I mean, it was just about to run out, but that was the first time he got to use it. To take down the inhibitor tower that leaves the Cloud9 taking an inhibitor at 18.5 minutes. As Darshan working on this tower, and Copy's chasing someone. Andrew is in a little bit of trouble in his own jungle. Copy, though, just running back towards the team as Cloud9 are trying to work on yet another inhib. And they would take Baron, Crumbs, but they can't because there's no Baron yet. It's 19 minutes into the game. Darshan, take that Q. Oh my god, he did it! Oh my god, he actually did it! Under Pretty down they go. Ulti out there from both Rumble and Braum, and Darshan's already taken out Pretty. Cloud9 just way too far ahead as Darshan's popping in there and popping off on the rest of the team. Is this seriously going to be an ace? Is this how it ends? Cloud9 just hitting them with the wallet, diving straight under the tower, and Cloud9 are going to meet their minions in mid and finish off the game.
The only correct outcome in this game is for Cloud9 to end in under 20 minutes. That has to be what they're going for.
They're racing. Here they go. Isles onto the tower with the hook. Gets things started off. It's only Joey here left alive. He's been hooked so many times by Nautilus. He's going to take down another tower, and it is going to be under 20 minutes. Crumbs. The Nexus exposed. Cloud9 are working on it. They know the record is in their sights as Darshan finally throws himself into the fountain. 90 minutes, 50 seconds, the Nexus exploded. Crumbs. Cloud9 with an absolute speed run in game number 2.
That is my favorite game of the split. Might be of the year, the play of the year at the very least, but Cloud9's record just will not be held. We're going to have some replays. We know the only one you're interested in seeing. We'll have that one there for you, but all right, we'll have them all.
Yeah, I mean, this is how it started, right? Cloud9 just played so well in this early game.
Yeah, it was from that mid 2v2 that then just started spilling over everywhere. This is it. The grand replay. The 1v5 to end all 1v5s. It starts as a 1v3, but every member of IMT gets involved. And it's IMT, they're trying, right? They're using all their abilities. Their Shan doesn't even land them all, but it doesn't matter. He's too far ahead. He's too strong. Oh, man. This one got my blood racing.
And just doesn't stop. How does he not get the penta here, by the way?
Yeah, right?
Like who did he not kill?
I guess the initial kill on Nidalee was too early before killing Tristana, and so it didn't count as a double that early on.
Damn, that's sad. I was thinking about that. I was like, it says quarter, but I feel like he got more kills than that. As then this last fight here. I mean, Dashan's just feeling it, right? He's going back in here again. Might as well, because again, Cloud9 is so far ahead. They straight up dive the tower. No need to mess around. And siege up crumbs, you can just dive the enemy in their base.
Yeah, when you're this far ahead, it's a note that I think many teams can take. You don't need Baron to end the games. You don't need the soul. You got the gold. You got the mechanics and the champions to pull it off. Just go for it. Go for the dives. It actually makes you such an aggressive and dangerous team to deal with when that is something in your arsenal, when you are not predictable. So many teams become predictable when they need these objectives to end the game. But if you can just siege, power dive when they don't expect it, bam, power surprise gets you the dub.
I think it was definitely a game where, Cloud understand how far ahead they are, right? Maybe not the exact numbers, but that's the kind of game where, like, they have the momentum. They know they're very far ahead. You're just kind of leaning on your confidence in that kind of dive because, like, if you all die, like, what even happens?
Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah, maybe lose a tower. Like, it doesn't matter. It's so early in the game, actually. Dying's not even that costly because the timers are pretty short. There's no dragon to take. Maybe you lose a tower, but Cloud9 know they're so far ahead that even everyone dying in that play under the tower is not going to push them too far back. And it is nice that Cloud9, open strong in game 1 and then come out even stronger in game 2, right? There's definitely this notion of, starting strong and then the other team battles back and then it ends up in a tie. Not this time for Cloud9. They take a very convincing sweep.
They showed some real power with the 3 picks that were the same in both games, the Nautilus, the Lee Sin, and the Set, just ensuring that you always have a way to start a fight. And that's a combination that I think they'll be able to hone in because they can flex them around, they can move them into different lanes like we talked about if they want to switch it up afterwards. So there's a ton of flexibility that they can get from just practicing these champions over and over again. And if they can get you 1v5 pentakills, why not continue to play them?
I'm also curious what other combinations Cloud9 have, right? Because this looked very comfortable for them. I think Copy, one of the best sets I've seen in the solo lane, right? I think we don't see it that often. We've actually seen a lot more top lane set, at least in the LCS games so far this summer. And we do know Set's very flexible. Seen a lot of good support play out of Set when that was more of a thing, and obviously is good in both solos. But Copy and Dashan actually both just very clearly understand their champion's limits there. So I'm curious what other picks they feel similarly comfortable in, right? Because I think there are lots of different choices. And if you have lots of different ways to plug and play solo lane combinations alongside your jungler, you are a very threatening team in this metagame, right? Because so much of it is about finding the little combinations that work. And if you can play every possible, topside combination very well, it's basically impossible to beat you in a draft because you'll always find something that works with all these flexible picks and all these powerful picks.
And those two, by being able to play these flexible AD champions, whether it's bruisers, assassins, or even AD carries, actually are allowing Surenfire to shine. They're allowing him to play AP carries, that play these junglers that want to farm, that need a little bit of early space from the lanes generating priority. And so it actually makes Surenfire a much more dangerous jungler because now he's also a threat that you have to consider because he's going to assist in these team fights. So they give him the early lane pressure so that he can farm early, and then he gives back by having those level 6 ultimates to assist with the dive. So it works really well in the solo lane and jungle picks that Cloud9 are currently playing with.
Yeah, and as much as I love Akali Lee Sin, Set Lee Sin is a really cool spin on that combination because, I mean, obviously they're different. Akali's an assassin, right? Her lane phase is quite a bit weaker. She just kind of has to hang out and hit minions, and she often gets pushed in a lot of her lane matchups, right? there are quite a few counter picks to Akali that people are comfortable playing. Whereas Set, especially in the other melee matchups, right? So he played against Viego and Renekton in this series. Set's such a bully in those kind of matchups, right? I think against a mage or against a different range champion, it might be a bit tougher, but in those kind of matchups where Set can be more aggressive and just play up in the lane, I feel like you get to see stuff like these really well-coordinated dives out of Cloud9 Academy, which is fun to see because, I mean, I think everyone wants to act like, you know, a super aggressive team that dives really flawlessly, and actually executing on that is way harder than it looks. And it's nice to see Cloud9 Academy showing so much prowess in that kind of playstyle. And I think the picks obviously help, but I think obviously just their general team play and practice maybe showed up more than anything else this second game.
I think that prowess was really on display in the 2v2 fight in the mid lane, not only from the counter gank from Surenfire, but then when Isles and Sven roamed into the fight as well, they just knew they had it to assist in that. That was an absolutely sick timing from them. And so seeing more of that from Cloud9, the bot lane being involved in the solo lane action, it makes them even harder to deal with.
All right, well, I'm glad we're talking about the solo laners because we actually have one of them on Cloud9 Academy standing by for our Verizon post-game interview. I'd like to welcome Copy to the broadcast. Copy, how you feeling? That's quite a second game there.
Yeah, feeling good. Honestly, after the second game in that mid 2v2, we just all knew it was over and we're like having a lot of fun. So that was pretty fun.
Now, what were the comms with you? Because I gotta ask, when Darshan 1v5, what's going on down there with the rest of the team? Do you feel like you need to do something when a single player is just killing everyone by himself?
Yeah, honestly, I was worried because he was getting 3v1 dove, but then I was like, he's dead. I'll just leave him. We'll trade sides. And then we just see triple kill. And then Lucian TP's in, Braum comes in. He's just killing everyone. I'm pretty sure it was an unofficial penna, and we were just like all laughing. We all couldn't focus, and yeah, I guess he's just smurfing that hard. So,
so I'm curious, actually, about your thoughts on Set because I think this is a champion we maybe haven't seen enough, at least in the LCS, in the mid lane meta. But your prowess on this champion is like ridiculous. I haven't seen a Set this good in quite a long time. Can you tell me a bit about like your confidence on the champion or why you wanted to play it in this matchup?
Yeah, I just think Set's a really good champ because he can lane really well. His skirmishing is really good because he has a lot of CC, tankiness, like durability. And I think for mid lane right now, especially because mages are really bad because of the items, like you farm and you don't really scale because the items don't do that well. Picking like bruisers or like things like Lucian, marksman, like Ezreal, those are better. But my favorite like picks I would say are like Lee Sin and Set because they like offer the playmaking and they bridge the early game for your team. So it's just something that I really enjoy, and I think it's good for the game, especially with AP junglers.
Where do enchanters fall in line for the mid lane right now? Because we do see the Karmas, the Lulus, and these kinds of picks still show up, but they're getting pretty much permanently banned in most games right now. So are these the ones that you think you can get away with as mages in the mid lane if you're not going to be playing bruisers?
Yeah, definitely. I think the premier ones like Karma and Lulu are like really strong right now because they can get away in laning phase, and because their items are so cheap and they synergize with the junglers that you play them well with, like Xin Zhao, Kindred, Graves, all these things. They just work well together in a 2v2, and yeah, they're just good champs.
All right, and then I think my last one, obviously the last time we spoke, Copy, was I believe at Scattergrounds last year, and now you're on Cloud9 Academy, doing pretty well. What's that experience been like this summer playing alongside this team?
It's actually a really new experience. Like I enjoyed it a lot. It's just my teammates, the coaching staff around me. I've been learning a lot, like especially with people like Darshan and now Sven. I just feel like I can improve a lot faster, and it's not just solo queue. It's like things like communication, just how to be a better teammate in general. It's just I feel like I'm improving really fast, and yeah, I've been learning a lot and having fun.
Yeah, I'd say based on the performance today, I couldn't agree more. Copy is awesome to watch you play. Thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast as well.
Thanks for having me.
Alrighty, well, Cloud9 Academy, Crumbs. Business as usual. Just smurfing it up. Darshan's unofficially painting people in 1v5s.
I am still glowing. I can hardly imagine how Darshan is feeling after that play. They're going to just be celebrating. The whole team's laughing at it. We can see it in their play as well. But that is exactly the kind of action we've got in Academy this season. It's actually, I think, the most exciting I've been for Academy season in the whole time of Academy. I've never seen the games be of this quality before.
It was really fun actually to hear Copy be like, yeah, we like lost a little focus in that game, because it makes sense. Like even the in the early 1v2 in mid, right, where he got the re-face breaker after the first blood gank to basically ice the game from that point. Like players, I feel like say that a lot, where it's like, oh, we knew it was over, but like they're not often correct, right? There's often some hyperbole there, some confidence, but I think you could tell from that moment that they were like, okay, this is how the game is gonna go. We're already so far ahead that we can get there, and yeah, that was a real fun game to watch, but still surprisingly like clean. Shern's little extension at the Grump might be the only thing I can think of where they went a bit silly. Otherwise, if that's Cloud9 Academy having fun, I'm very scared for them to be playing seriously.
When you play fun, you play at your best. That is the mantra of video games, actually, and for a lot of people in life.
All right, well, definitely a lot of fun there for Cloud9 Academy. So that is our first series of the 3 we are going to have here on this stream. Well, this evening, don't go too far away there. Our next one is coming up after these messages.
Verizon believes everyone deserves the best. That's why we start with 5G from America's most reliable network.
Verizon 5G is next level.
Then give families plans to mix and match, so you only pay for what you need starting at $35.
You get so much more than this, a great network.
And offer the best in entertainment on select unlimited plans, like Disney+, Hulu, and ESPN+, as well as Discovery+, with a Galaxy S21 plus 5G when you buy one. There's no reason to settle for less than the best. Only from Verizon.